Hello folks, welcome back to the channel. As we fly over the English countryside in the Just Like Turbo Aero, I thought I'd give you my top 5 immersion breaking things that really take you out of the VR experience. So the first one is comfort. Now this extends not only to the headset on your head, but also your eyes. I believe this is definitely something that many people get wrong in VR. It's so important to make sure the VR headset is on correctly. Now there's many things to improve the experience and make your VR sessions much longer. For instance, studio form balancer kits are there to really make the headset not only fit better, but also in the case of say the Reverb G2 and Quest 2, it also helps with the sweet spot to enable your eyes to get the very best picture without having to shuffle the headset around. But really, regardless of whether you've got a Varjo Aero or a Quest 2 or a Pimax 8KX, VR headsets are too big. But how long before we start to see VR headset manufacturers really trim down that weight? I look forward to seeing what happens in the very near future, and I think big screen VR are definitely one of the companies that are going to get there first. Now for number 4, I'm going to call this one settingsitis. Now, be honest guys, and please let me know in the comments, how many times have you been flying just like I am now, and then you go and check the settings menu, do a few little changes, and then try something different? We've all done it, including me. This is something that after a while can really become rather an obsession and something quite unhealthy. And I really do feel, guys, that a set and forget scenario on your computer is the very best way to enjoy this sim. And it's why I don't post settings videos every week. So please just enjoy the sim and don't worry about your settings once you've got everything pretty much dialed in. It's very difficult because we all want to get that absolute eureka moment when it comes to the best performance. Don't be too anxious about changing settings all the time. So we're now getting down to business, and my top 3 immersion breaking things, well, I'm going to tell you that after a very quick word from our sponsor, which is FS Academy. They provide the very best tutorials for this sim, particularly because they are from real world pilots and instructors. And whether you are someone like me who flies pretty much every day, or you're just starting out, there's definitely a training package for you. I especially love how they come with real world procedures and charts, and the instruction is very much like the pilot is sat there beside you. So I'll have all the links for FS Academy in the description below. I highly recommend you check them out. So number 3 is controllers. This sounds like a strange thing to mention, but it's very important when you are flying in VR to always keep your controllers exactly in the same positions, because I find that when I've got a new setup, particularly when I first got my motion rig, I was fumbling around all over the place trying to find my quadrant levers, my flap lever, gear, sort of lever, trim, all of it, even my keyboard. I just couldn't find anything at all. And I imagine some of you guys probably don't have your controllers set up in the exact same way every flight. So if you don't, I would highly recommend that you do that, because muscle memory will take over and eventually you won't have issues finding your controllers and all of the switches and functions you need whilst in VR. A simple thing, but very important. So here's the crunch time now. My second worst VR immersion breaking thing. Well, this is a personal one, guys, but for me it is clarity. I've always been an advocate for high clarity in VR. It's the most important factor for me personally because, well, VR is all about what you see in the headset. For the lack of, pointing out the obvious, a really high quality VR image means that you don't have to worry about some of the other things I mentioned, like eye fatigue and comfort and longevity. You can fly for a lot longer with a beautiful VR image. Now, you don't have to spend crazy amounts of money on a Varjo Aero. However, I do think the Reverb G2 is still a great headset, and when pushed to full native resolution is very nice indeed. So for my final top number one VR immersion breaking thing I hate, well, it has to be performance. Absolutely. Frame rate is the number one factor for nausea and for feeling very uncomfortable and hot and clammy in VR. It's so important to tune your system, even if it means lower performance, so you can increase those frames. And when I mean FPS, I also mean frame timing and also stutters. All those things really have a huge impact in VR. And for me, it really does kill the immersion dead in the water. I'm not just talking about the odd stutter here and there, guys, because we all get that. But please do tune your system so that you can really enjoy VR, and your eyes and your brain will be very happy because you won't feel so uncomfortable. Anyway, folks, that is my top 5 immersion breaking things. But what are yours? Please do let me know in the comments below. Thank you so much for watching as always. I really appreciate it. Please feel free to subscribe, and I'll see you again very soon. Bye bye for now.